golden age of retail. That sounds very promising. Newmark President Liz Hart joining us this morning on set. All right, Liz, what makes you so optimistic? Let's start there.
Well, retail's performing exceptionally well right now. First of all, sales are up 45%, far outpacing inflation. Vacancy is in the single digits at 5%. And over the past 5 years, we've demolished over 100 million square feet of retail real estate, but we're delivering just a tiny bit of new supply, only 10 million square feet so far this year. So there's a pretty big opportunity here for investors.
Are retailers just giving up on brick and mortar?
No, not at all.
No?
Actually, the opposite. I mean, Class A malls are performing exceptionally well. I know that's something that people don't always hear about, but it is true. And we think there's a real opportunity for some of these Class B malls to be invested in and reposition themselves right now, given how tight Class A malls really are. So
a difference between Class A and Class B?
Oh, that's a pretty tough question. It has to do with, a lot of what's happening in the demographics around it, how much people are seeing it, and then just the look and feel of it. I think it really is a little bit subjective, but when you walk into a Class A mall, you know it. And I think one of the major differences is the experience of being in that store. We're seeing retailers really use their real estate to drive their goals as a business. So, my favorite example is Canada Goose and their very cold room. So you can actually try on that parka, even when it's hot in the summer like this, and see how that really would feel. We see retailers leaning into that even more. So they're using that physical presence to connect with their customers.
Not all retailers can afford that, though, right? I mean, some of the higher end maybe, but it's so hard to go up against the Amazons of this world because you just click and next thing you know, it's on your doorstep. Yeah,
that's certainly part of it. And we are seeing these bankruptcies that are shifting out that bottom of the market and moving it. So there's no question that that also is happening in the retail real estate sector, but it's that top of the market that we're really looking at, and that's performing very well.
So you're saying that the consumer, from a psyche point of view, is pretty optimistic and buying at a pretty good clip.
Well, the sales per square foot are up, so that does indicate that would be the case.
It's interesting, isn't it?
It is.
All right, let's talk about tariffs. Tariffs, are they affecting commercial real estate in any way?
Yeah, certainly, and it's a catalyst for some and a constraint for others, depending on the sector that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But where we really see this kind of becoming quite interesting is the changes to the Big Beautiful Bill and bonus tax depreciation at the same exact time. So going into what we just said, where you're looking for buildings we're trying to reposition, whether that's office, retail, and they're kind of in that second class and want to reach that first class, having that bonus depreciation for tenant improvements, repositioning your lobby,
makes a big difference.
That makes a huge difference. So that's where we could see, the demand not just hitting that very top tier, but also that second tier once it's been repositioned.
You say that tariffs are a strategic consideration. What do you mean by that?
What we mean by that when we say strategic consideration is that you have to look at it in context of your overall business and your real estate strategy. So that could be everything from supply chain to where you're actually delivering your goods to where your employees are being officed. So it's something that you have to consider as a whole, not just looking at it as an isolated factor.
We always thought with the tariffs, the naysayers would say, oh, well, retailers can only hang on so long before they're going to have to pass on the costs to the customers. Have we seen that yet? Prices haven't gone up based on the latest data that much.
Yeah, I mean, we'll stick to the real estate because that's what I'm an expert in. But from that perspective, we are still seeing good performance in those malls. So it does seem like
which is good for the real estate because of the demand.
Yeah.
At one point, commercial real estate was, people were just saying, looking down and saying, don't talk to me about it. We've gone through that stage, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is looking at that next generation, the one that we say is on their phones too much.
Yes.
They're the ones who are in the malls all the time. And actually, very interestingly, also bringing their parents and kind of connecting on that point. There's been some good studies around that. So maybe it's a family activity as well, getting into those retail environments and having some of those higher end experiences.
Very good. Encouraging. Liz, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it, of course.